Do you have any idea how many times I compare myself to other people every day? Unfortunately, it happens to me constantly. The internet is always showing me keyboard players that are better than me, girls that are prettier than me, influencers that started their account last year and they already have 2 million followers. It seems like everywhere I turn, someone is always there to remind me how crap I am at everything. I haven't even heard of this person before, but here they are with millions of followers appearing on my timeline and automatically making me feel bad about myself. I just think, how is it possible that someone I didn't even know existed is already so far ahead of me? There must be thousands of people out there, maybe millions, who are all doing better than me in ways I didn't even know I was supposed to care about. They weren't even on my radar, and now they're just another reminder that I'm totally cooked.
You're cooked.
For example, I didn't even know about Spotify monthly listeners until around 6 months ago or something, and that kind of sucked because I simultaneously found out that they are supposed to be important and also that I have none. Even though I've been a musician pretty much all my life, so I should probably have some, right?
False.
Anyways, I started focusing on that metric a lot recently because guess what? There's this girl that I follow on Instagram that has 250,000 monthly listeners, and she just turned 19, and she can play changes. Of course she can. She's really hot and she has an ideal body fat percentage, and I'm pretty sure she has a lot of money because her Instagram feed is really aesthetic. Isn't that nice? So sometimes I like to click on her profile and stalk her for a little while, just out of curiosity, to see how many other social hierarchy systems she's ahead of me in. It's almost like seeing a version of me that could have been, if I hadn't been so mediocre. Then I see my reflection staring back at me from the screen of my phone, and I just have to wonder, what have I even been doing with my life? She hasn't even gone to college yet, and I'm sitting here with my double chin and my mediocre pentatonic licks, making silly internet videos like some washed up, desperate loser.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
She was probably practicing chromatic approaches, and what was I doing at that age? Drinking with my friends and eating fast food. She's probably more motivated and spends her time wisely, but I sat around and goofed off and played video games and procrastinated. What a pitiful specimen I am.
You are ugly.
This is all how it plays out in my brain. Anyways, does this ever happen to you? Well, just consider me your guide, because today we're going to be diving into why all of this garbage your brain keeps feeding you isn't just utterly useless. It's actively ruining your internal posture, your metaphorical physique, and we need to fix that ASAP. But before we do, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already so you can help me spread some positivity to the universe of YouTube. And with that, let's go. Chapter 1, the comparison spiral. So what's actually happening when you compare yourself to someone else? Because it's not like you're just waking up every day thinking, yes, I can't wait to suck again. It just happens because you wake up first thing in the morning and check your phone, because let's face it, they're all pretty much attached to us at this point, and you immediately see someone doing better than you in a way you didn't even realize you cared about until just now. Maybe someone you went to school with just won a Grammy. Maybe they just had a super viral video and everyone is glazing them in the comments. Maybe they're shredding on giant steps, and let's face it, you still lose the form. Or maybe it's just someone who looks nice and has nice clothes and a nice apartment. Well, you see these things presented to you and your brain automatically goes, why aren't you like that? Stupid. Like this some sort of unspoken competition actually exists, and if it does, you're losing.
Oh, what a loser!
But that's the fallacy. So why does your brain do this? Well, unfortunately, it's doing exactly what it was evolved to do. We are social creatures. We survived because of our ability to communicate and work together in groups of people. Evolutionarily speaking, all of the comforts and technologies we enjoy today are extremely new. We've evolved so quickly in recent times that there really wasn't time for biology to even catch up. In a similar way to how our bodies are not ready for this sedentary lifestyle and unrestrained access to foods high in sugar and fat, our brains are not ready to be exposed to a sea of 1,000 faces per day. Because right now, deep down, your brain still believes it's in a tribe of 150 people. That almost sounds nice because I am so bad at remembering faces. But the thing is, back then, comparison had a real function. It wasn't necessarily about self-improvement. It was about social positioning. Your brain was just trying to accurately predict where you fit in the tribe. So if someone was stronger than you, your brain noted they might lead the next hunt. If someone was more attractive or fertile, meaning they would probably have more children or be chosen by a mate with more status, you could predict that they would have more alliances in the future. And if someone was more well-liked than you, that meant you were less safe, because your safety all depends on the support of the tribe. And these little notes that our ancient brains used to make were all essential in making smart decisions. Who you befriend, who you support, who you should be afraid of. But this ancient wiring didn't just disappear because now we scroll on our glowing rectangles every morning in bed. Your brain is still running that software, even though you aren't in a tribe fighting for food anymore. As I'm recording this video, there are currently 8.2 billion people in the world, and almost 70% of those people have internet access, which means that your tribe of 150 has, shall we say, expanded a little bit.
Billions and 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 billions.
And instead of having one or two competitors, now you can compare yourself to the very best in the world, all day, every day. No wonder we all have anxiety.
Anxiety.
No! God! No!
That sense of being so vastly inferior to everyone else sends your chimpanzee brain into a spiral of negativity. It's simply not prepared for this. And so we need to figure out how to break that loop. And the first step is you need to stop believing that that voice inside your head is actually you. Because it's not. Yes, it uses your tone, your vocabulary, even your insecurities. But it's not actually you. It's a parasite. An antiquated relic from a past long gone and inapplicable now, just feeding you doubt on a loop. Because really, who are these people to you? You don't know if they're happy. They might be drowning in debt.
Fat, juicy, and wet.
They might be falling out with their families.
Shut up! Mom! Silence from you!
You don't know about their bad eating habits and their secret addictions.
Julian!
They don't want you to know these things either. And logically, if you know that everyone is doing the same thing, everyone is struggling, common sense says that you shouldn't be worried, right? Wrong! Your brain is not that smart. It eats that highlight reel in one big gulp, and then it digests it into fuel for self-hatred. Look at them. They're doing everything right, and you're still here, still average. If we don't learn how to recognize this voice as an imposter, then we will never learn how to make it shut up. Chapter 2. The social leaderboard is a lie. So now that we've talked about why our brains compare to other people, let's assess what exactly it's comparing you to. Your brain isn't good at nuance. It just notices the loudest, shiniest, most obvious thing and assumes that's the most important. And in today's world, that usually means you're comparing yourself against the very best, happiest, most noteworthy things that have happened to everyone, both online and offline. You don't usually hear about the monotony, the petty arguments, the unglamorous mental or even physical setbacks. What you see is the polished stuff, the gigs, the ring light, the perfect takes. But behind all of that, all of these people are still deeply human. For example, I have a condition that's called dermatillomania, and that means a depressingly large percentage of my life is spent hiding in my room, feeling bad about myself after picking at my face for hours. Do you think I'm sharing that side of myself to my Instagram story? Hell no. I wouldn't be caught dead showing that vulnerable, crappy side of me to the world. That's just my own personal struggle, but everyone has their own type of skeleton in the closet. And that's just the point. You don't see it. Nobody posts that stuff. Not the guy who is touring the world with his own music. Not the Instagram baddie with her own custom guitar. All of these people have messy, sad moments. Demons that hang on their backs and haunt their dreams. But your brain sees their very intentional, public wins and compares that to your very private failures. It holds up the worst, most mediocre parts of your day, maybe even your body, and measures them against a stranger's best moments. That's honestly not a fair fight no matter how you look at it. Cut yourself some slack because you're playing a losing game. But in reality, there is no universal scoreboard. And even if there was, everyone is playing on different games, different rules, different starting points. Some people have cheat codes and others don't. So if you're going to compare, at least compare in full pictures. Stop treating other creators as threats, no matter how tempting it may feel. Their existence is not proof of your failure. Remember, they are just as human and insecure as you are. They all have their own monsters, addictions, things to be ashamed and embarrassed of. The only difference is you're seeing all of yours up close and personal. So let's be clear, the goal is not to catch up to some idealistic person who looks and plays better than you. Instead, you should keep building what you have, your playing, your music, your life, without thinking less of yourself each time someone is doing well. Stop looking at yourself like a worse version of someone else, because they have nothing to do with you. Especially nowadays with billions of people in the world, why even bother comparing yourself? The only thing it can possibly do is make you lose your time. Valuable time that you could be using to, I don't know, practice your instrument. So yeah, if you keep spending all of your mental energy on someone else's progress, then you'll have none left for your own. So next time your brain tries to rank yourself on that imaginary leaderboard, take a step back, go splash some water on your face and take a few deep breaths, and then go do something. Literally anything that puts you back on your own timeline. Because guess what? That's the only one you're ever going to get. Chapter 3. The scripts that keep you stuck. So maybe you were able to stop scrolling. You caught that thought. I'm comparing myself. This is useless. I should snap out of it. But it never completely goes away, does it? Something always lingers. The internal narrative that you tell yourself after you're done being jealous. It's really hard to get rid of. I wasted my youth. She's only 19 and better than me. I'm irrelevant now. If I had just taken music more seriously when I was 20, maybe I'd be famous. These thoughts totally sound like the truth. They feel cold, hard, and inevitable. But once again, your brain is just missing the newest update. This narrative is called a script. It is totally possible to rewrite it and change your reality, but not if you believe it's some inescapable truth. These scripts paralyze you. Paralyze because they steal the time you have, the reality you're living in right now, and you only get once, and they drag you into an alternate timeline where everything went perfectly. Except it didn't, because none of it was real.
Not real!
But these fantasy scripts are usually written after you compare yourself. You see someone else excelling at something you desire, and now you're weaponizing it against your own past decisions. Now it's not about how they're winning, but about how you're losing. So you sit there like Eeyore, sad, wallowing in your own sorrows. Not playing, not writing, just silently attacking your own history. But here's the thing, your past doesn't disqualify you. It made you who you are. Even if you didn't study jazz harmony at 17 years old, or even if you spent your early 20s partying, or working as a waitress, or playing in cover bands. Even if you just started releasing music seriously. That doesn't mean you're behind. It just means your timeline is different. Even if that voice inside of you is saying, you've wasted too much time, that doesn't make it an objective reality. It just means that voice is scared, because what if it never works out for you? It's scary to hope for something because disappointment hurts, but you don't have to keep acting out the same script every single day, because when you let that little voice run the show, you're reinforcing the very thing that is keeping you stuck. So let's scrap it. You can write a new one. Here it goes. I am starting from where I am right now, and I'm going to give it my best effort. That thought is a better and more honest representation of the actual situation at hand. And it's way more useful to you than the shaming narrative your brain likes to recycle.
Shame.
Chapter 4. How comparison kills creativity. By now, you've probably noticed something. When you compare yourself to other musicians, whether it be about chops, looks, success, it never actually makes you any better. It makes you freeze, paralyze. Because no matter how tempting it may be to feed into it, comparison does not motivate you. It only serves to distract you from what you were doing in the first place. The thing you're best at, the thing you love the most, creating. Isn't it? When your brain is busy scanning for people out there that are better than you, you're not going to be paying any attention to what you're actually interested in. You're just trying to find something that will get you attention and validation, something that will look impressive to other people, rather than something you actually care about. And when you switch from being curious to constantly judging yourself, you lose the whole point of making art in the first place. You stop taking risks, not because you have nothing to say, but because you're afraid of saying it the wrong way or being perceived as lame.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now you're not writing music because you love it and want to express yourself. You're writing it to win this hypothetical approval. But frustratingly enough, all of these things that you're avoiding, all of these ideas that you weren't sure about, things you never even ended up trying, sometimes those are the places where your best potential was. But you scrapped it before it even had the chance to take form. And that's how comparison kills creativity. It gradually slips doubt into your process, piece by piece. Remember when you were little and you didn't used to question yourself? You used to express whatever was inside of your heart with no filter. Your spirit wasn't tainted by insecurity or fear of rejection because you hadn't even experienced that yet. You weren't editing yourself or wondering if your magic show was good enough. Wasn't there a real beauty in the honesty, authenticity, and imperfection? Don't you look back with a sense of admiration at the total lack of fear you used to have? But now here you are, questioning your instincts. You're trying to polish the rough edges. But you're not a machine. and you were never meant to be. You're a human being, you're flawed, and that's part of your beauty. You're unique, and you have your own signature. You aren't a worse version of someone else because no one is like you. You aren't supposed to churn out shiny, perfect plastic. We already have AI for that, don't we? Comparison doesn't kill creativity with one big explosion. It chips away at it slowly, replacing your instincts with doubt, your authenticity with insecurity. And then one day you wake up and you realize you haven't practiced or created anything in weeks. Not because you ran out of ideas, but because you stopped trusting yourself enough to follow through with them. So if you're feeling stuck lately, maybe ask yourself, who exactly are you trying to impress? And why do you think you need to? You're already allowed to create. No one has to give you permission. The only thing that actually matters is whether or not you're going to show up. Chapter 5. Your worth is not a metric. Let's talk about one of the things that really haunts me the most. I don't know about you guys, but for me, this is the part that keeps me up at night, wasting my time. Numbers. At some point, whether you're scrolling, releasing music, or just watching other musicians post their achievements and viral videos, this sneaky idea starts to define your reality. You start to believe that your value depends on data. Isn't that depressing as hell? Why would any rational person ever accept that? But the way it burrows into your head is subliminal. It doesn't start with a crisis. You just start noticing little things, like monthly listeners. You see somebody with a bunch, that must be something you're supposed to care about. So you go and check yours. Oh, that doesn't seem good. And what about your engagement rate? A good one is like 4%. Don't you want to know what yours is? Oh, I guess my numbers are crap there too. I probably check my phone 5,000 times per day, but nothing I post goes viral. And now all I'm doing is focusing on the negative. I'm not viral. I have no monthly listeners. Mike Dean unfollowed me. And so everything I have done, every positive thing I've achieved, it doesn't really mean much to me right now. Because if the results aren't visible, then they don't count, right? Well, that's the trap. You start confusing visibility with value, engagement with substance. Metrics are useful. They can tell you where your audience is or how a release is doing, but they're terrible at showing the stuff that actually matters. They don't track the hours that you've put into your project, the love you have for your craft, your ability to evolve and change after you've endured something difficult. Spotify doesn't show any of that. And when your brain starts tying your identity to numbers that are constantly changing, you set yourself up to feel worthless, even if you're actually making progress. But creative work does not have a scoreboard. There is no trophy or achievement that you get when you show up every day to practice or get better at the thing you love. It's a slow and unpredictable process. And many times, when you finally get the breakthrough that you're looking for, it will have nothing to do with your audience size. Because no matter how large and looming the numbers may seem, they don't actually represent a real substance. The quality of art is not defined by how many people saw it. It wouldn't be art anymore, it would be a popularity contest. And while that might be the loudest, most obvious thing that your brain notices, that is not the only thing that matters. If it were, is that really a world that you want to contribute your art to?
Are you sure?
It's not wrong to want growth, but when numbers start to dictate how you feel about yourself, it stops being art and starts being performance for someone else's algorithm. That's not sustainable, and that's certainly not why you started. Remember little 3-year-old you? Is this what they cared about? Probably not.
I certainly hope not.
So step back from the metrics. Use them when they help you, but don't let them define who you are. Your worth was never supposed to be based off of what other people think about you. Chapter 6, Fixing Your Internal Posture. I think I want to go back to that metaphor that I was using earlier. Kind of like the way you shouldn't slump your head and shoulders, but instead of your body, it's the way you carry yourself creatively. Your attitude when you sit down to start a project. The things you tell yourself when you look in the mirror. Sometimes they're not that nice, are they? And that's the thing. When you start to tell yourself nasty things, you often start to believe them. And ironically, believing in things often wills them into existence. So having crappy internal posture just makes it really hard to get anything done. Ideas feel stupid. You hesitate when you improvise. It becomes much easier to overthink everything than act. It's like walking every day with your shoulders slouched. Eventually, it becomes so familiar that you don't even notice it anymore. But good news, it doesn't have to be forever because you can change that. And it's not about about believing in yourself in some feel-good way, because I hate that sort of flowery motivational language just as much as you do. It's about changing what you expose yourself to and how you respond to what your brain throws at you. You start by noticing what distracts you. For me, it's that one girl on Instagram. I really can't stand it when she shows up on my timeline. Seeing her literally makes me lose my time and feel bad about myself, and then I don't get anything done because I'm caught in this negativity spiral. If certain people leave you feeling this way, then there is no reason not to remove them from your life. You don't have to be subject to that anymore, because not only is it draining your life energy, but it is totally useless. So I went and I blocked her. No, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's a boundary. Social media gives you the tools to take action if something is bothering you and taking up all of your mental space. My attention and time are limited. I need it for my own ideas. I don't need to be thinking about her all the time. She's certainly not thinking about me. All that mental energy gets wasted on someone who has no idea they're even in your head, while your own work gets ignored. That imbalance doesn't get fixed on its own. You have to actually do something about it. Start by keeping track of what you're actually getting done. Not just how you feel about your work, but what actually exists because of you showing up. And when jealousy shows up, you don't have to shove it down. Let it point you towards what you actually want. The fact that I have so much jealousy for this girl just gives me some insight about what I actually want. I want to get better at piano. I want to take releasing my original music more seriously. The fact that she is better than me at both of these things is not a reason for me to punish myself. All of this, noticing, muting, and reframing, is how you can fix your internal posture. You're not doing it so that you can rise above everyone else. You're doing it so that you have space to move without flinching every time you try to take a step. When your spine is upright, you'll stop apologizing for existing, and that is when you'll start to sound like yourself again. Remember the moment I mentioned earlier? It might have happened to you too. That moment when you catch a glimpse of your reflection from the screen of your phone and you don't like what you see. Or you feel like a worse version of someone else. That version of you, the one that feels inferior, isn't your enemy. Neither is the person you're jealous of. Not even your past self is your enemy, even if you made some really questionable decisions. All of them are still part of this, just fragments, intervals, versions that came before. And when you zoom out a little bit, it's actually kind of funny how seriously we take these snapshots. The numbers, the timelines, everything that you're supposed to be by now. But what is really at stake? We are on a floating rock in the middle of space. You could fit 1.3 million Earths inside of the sun, and you are literally holding a tool that makes noise when you hit it. So if you plan to keep going, and I hope you do, make something that actually represents yourself. Because if nothing really matters, you might as well make something that you like. So just do something today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It probably won't be. How bad you sound over autumn leaves is between you and God, but showing up to practice is still way better than sitting on your butt and complaining about it. So just get out there and do it. Unless you're some hot 19-year-old virtuosic piano player. And if that's the case, for the love of all things that are good and holy, will you please slow down a little bit? But if that's not you, and odds are it isn't, then just keep going. Keep making whatever it is that feels like you. And if this video made you feel even just a little bit better, then you already know what else to do.